one of the bigger storylines to come out of this is the promotion of Francisco Alvarez by the New York Mets. He's their top prospect. He is a short king, people. He's listed at 5'10", which means he's 5'8".
Yes.
Okay. And he's built like Jake, like a box.
Powerful.
He's got pop like Jake. He hits bombs. Yeah. Okay. From all accounts, and I got to talk with a Mets fan this morning, he's going to come up in DH against lefties. He rakes lefties. Well, who's pitching tonight? Max Fried. Where are you going to be? Atlanta. What's going on? Oh, just a postseason-like series for the division. Welcome to the show, kid. I talked with Peter about this. Like, he thinks it's awesome and it's different nowadays with rookies coming up. It's like, hey, you're part of this. Come do your thing. Whereas when we came up, it was like, don't fuck it up type mentality. Wouldn't you, this is my question I asked Peter. I'm going to ask you the same thing. Wouldn't you like rather have just called this guy up like last week to, get his feet wet a little bit before you stick him in the lion's den with Max Fried, who's stunningly good looking on the mound?
Right. It's really tricky. So I want to see how they deploy him. Like you said, if it's truly he is their lefty platoon DH, because I think Darren Ruff has struggled for them, and that's who he was supposed to be when he came over, then I don't have as much of a qualm with it, because I call this the Storielli call-up, because it's the weird mix between desperate and cool. If this kid comes up and he's nails and he plays great, like, wow, what a boost and what a cool thing you've done. If he does come up and he has a bad couple baseball games, which any player can do, Prime Barry Bonds had a couple bad days. Never mind any rookie, even though it's a top 10 prospect. If you don't know, Francisco Alvarez, top 10 prospect in baseball. Like Trev said, listed 5'10", 233. So we're probably talking 5'8 and a half, 255 on the Storielli meter. Some of the clips are badass. He is 20 years old. He cannot legally drink. Get ready for that if he ends up on the Mets playoff roster. And Trev, I thought what was interesting, he's mauled lefties. He's one dotted versus lefties this year in the minors. So, okay, I can be talked into that. The other thing that I thought was really important, and Baseball Reference, for those of you who are baseball nuts like us, and you all are, you listen to this. Baseball Reference, when you go on the minor league players pages, they now have splits that you could check out their game logs. You could check out their last month. You could check out their last 7 days. And I think it's really important because Francisco Alvarez's stats in AAA this year won't blow you away. And I was a little worried at first. But because again, is it a desperate move by the Mets? His last 28 days, this kid, 362, 483, a 1.079. So, I think he struggled a little bit early in AAA. I think the light bulb started to go off. And hey, if you've got the button to press, why not press the button? I'm excited, but whoa, Nelly, you want to talk about some... Is it unfair to put the kid in that spot? Max Fried? Like, think about everything you just said, Trev. I don't know.
It's wild. So his manager there, I think it's Syracuse, is a former manager of mine, Kevin Bowles. I had Kevin for a couple different years in the minor leagues, and some of his quotes about him were like, he knows how good he is.
Right.
But it's the rare combination of I'm this good with the work ethic. He said that is kind of what has separated Francisco in his mind and will give him the ability to come up here and have this success. And why they're not scared to do this is because the guy is like, he has that confidence that you need, but he also pairs it with the work ethic. I hate the false bravado. When teams try to have a moniker at the beginning of the season, I always tell people, hey, man, it's hard to have that thing all year long. Certain guys like Francisco are built to have that confidence and to come up in these situations. This is what Kevin Bowles is saying about this guy. We'll see if it actually comes true, but it sounds like to me he's like an impact bat. They brought in Ruff to be their guy against lefties. He's struggled. That's the bottom line. So they're looking to get some offense there from that DH position. And it'd be awesome to see him go off in these couple days and earn a postseason spot. I don't know if this is an audition, if he's just going to be on the roster. Like, that's kind of weird to have such a small sample size dictate if you make the freaking playoff roster or not. But it kind of seems like that's the way it is, right?
Yeah, and I guess I'm glad you had that tidbit about him being the first lefty DH because, James McCann they brought in, he hasn't hit much in his time with the New York Mets. And you hope the kid makes us have fun conversations, right? Like if he comes up and he is special, which he's supposed to be, if we could start having some Mets playoff conversations, do you put the kid behind the dish? Do they put him behind the dish late in the game? I mean, that gets crazy. I'd almost rather tell him, hey, you're starting, kid, and then go to McCann late. I hope he opens up those conversations because that would be incredible.
I don't
we
think
might
he
not
catches.
get there.
I don't think he catches. From everything that I've read, and like I said, I talked to some Mets fans. We got some Mets fans in the chat. Let me know if I'm wrong here, but I think he's primarily coming up, not primarily, like strictly coming up to be a bat against lefties. And if he earns extra bats, maybe we have him as a permanent DH. But I don't think he gets behind the plate. You can't learn the pitchers, man.
Right.
That's too much too late
And
for this guy.
Buck Showalter, I doubt he would do that. So, I don't know. It's a fun wrinkle. And Trev, I think you were looking for an answer. I unfortunately think it's a play the result, and which is so unfair to this kid. I mean, if he gets a hit against Max Fried, that's unreal.
That's all he has. Is that all he has to do? Just like get one knock and you're golden.
And then what?
Peter and I talked about it this morning. We're like, okay, what does he got to do to earn that next start? And we're like, go pump one off of Fried. I mean, that's basically what you have to do.
Or hey, kid, here's AJ Minter and Tyler Matzik, who just basically locked up a World Series for the Braves. Why don't you pinch hit against them?
It seems like that would be like what they're probably going to do. We'll start tonight. He might get pinch hit for later by Vogelbach if there's
right.
A harsh right. I don't know. That's a possibility. He probably doesn't start tomorrow because Kyle Wright, and then maybe you do save him to come off the bench against those guys late in the game. I mean, that seems like the most likely scenario. I don't know if Buck just wants to throw him in there and say, "Hey, get a bunch of at-bats right now."
Right.
We'll see.
It's as a storyline fan, I love it.
Yes.
I just
Short King fan.
I don't fully know what it means. Seems like he's got that story Ellie swag to him. I think I might have seen a cat scratch on the eyebrows. And yeah, I've it's easy when you only see the highlights, but the highlights of him catching big boy homers are big boy homers. So hopefully it's the cherry on the top for the Mets season. And on Monday we're talking about them and how strong their year was, or we could be sitting here on Monday saying it's uh-oh season. So should be fantastic baseball. I think if your team is out of it, I might enthuse you to go click over. I'm probably going to be clicking over if I'm going to be honest with you. And again, Eddie Escobar talk coming. And Ronnie Acuna, did you see the homers, Trev? Just so violent. His year overall numbers aren't there. There's so
they
few.
all reset, bro, in the playoffs. That's the beauty of it, man.
Exactly. There's something about when he does it, man. It's just like, Mike, he hurts baseballs.
He's got a beautiful swing. It's a combination of like elegance with brutality. Like it's so smooth, and when you watch a Tiger Woods golf swing, you're like, oh shit. Like that's what a golf swing's supposed to look like. I feel like you get that with Ronnie Acuna. When he's on, you get that. Like, oh, that's what a proper baseball swing looks like. Mike Trout has that too. His is like, it's so efficient, but sometimes I don't think it's as pretty as some other ones. Do you know what I mean with that?
Yes.
Like Mike Trout is just like the most efficient swing in baseball. Like he generates the most power. It's the best bat path. It's so direct, but there's something about the way guys finish with the one hand and everything that I think adds a little bit of beauty to the swing. Might not be the best for your swing, um, but I think there's a little bit of difference. I think people get that.
Trout does not have the prettiest of swings, which is funny because of how good he is, but it works. Sure as heck works.